Hey love, and welcome back to another video. I am your girl Pauline. I am your virtual loctician here to support you along your lock journey, okay? I love to help the lock girlies and the brothers too with their lock, to help you with the what to not do, what to do, and what to look out for. I'm that girl, okay? She, me, her, okay? All right, so today I'm going to be talking about 5 things that are slowing down your lock journey. Some of you guys feel like my locks are not maturing as they should be, or I'm seeing issues. So I'm going to get into some of the things that's slowing down your lock journey. That is where it's taking a little bit longer for you to see maturity in your locks. Okay, there's a lot that goes into your lock journey, right? As far as how quickly your hair locks, there's a lot of things that go into it, like the curl pattern, the texture, the method, the size, all of that. There's so much that goes into it. Your routine, your maintenance, like there's a lot to consider. So on average, most people are typically, by 6 months, you should start seeing some action, right? By 6 months, you should start seeing some locking going on. It won't be locked, but you start seeing budding and all that stuff, right? Usually by a year and a half, most people are locked. Now, there's a difference between locked and mature. Like, you start budding, that's like the first phase of locking, right? And let me clarify, I'm talking about people with like traditional locks, Sisterlocs, Microlocs. I'm not talking about Instalock, Freeform. I'm not talking about that. But people who are like, who have Microlocs, Sisterlocs, and some traditional lock people, tap on them. This is for you, this is for you. Okay, so depending on your method, there's a lot that goes into it, as far as how long will it take for my hair to lock? People ask me that all the time. So because there's so much that goes into it, on average, I would say by a year and a half, your hair should be locked. Now, there's a difference between locked and like mature. Like, what I mean by mature, your locks are at the place where you can color, you can cut, you can do almost anything you want to do with your locks without any repercussion, okay? And when I say mature, think about when you got your locks, right? For those of you who've been locked more than 3 years, do you remember that drop phase? Do you remember? And when I say by drop, that drop happens about 2.5, 3 years. 3 years in is when you see that drop. And it's for people who hair, your locks are growing out like this. And then by year 3, it's like, boom, that drop. That's what I'm talking about. That drop, right? So for me, that's what I call maturity. Now, some people will be locked, your hair will be locked before year 3, but it's not like mature where it's like it's done doing all that it can do. That's it, okay? Here are some mistakes that people are making that's slowing down their locking process or their locking journey, okay? 1, shampooing your hair without banding. I know you guys hear that all the time. Shampoo, make sure you braid and band and all this other stuff. Shampooing is wonderful for the locks, and I encourage people to do it as often as you can. However, you must make sure that you are following the instruction, proper braiding and banding technique, to ensure that your lock does not have any type of slippage when you're shampooing. There are people who are shampooing their hair without braiding and banding, and it's unraveling, they're having slippage, they're having bunching and all this other stuff. When you shampoo without braiding and banding, you can expect those things, and it will slow down your locking process. If you braid and band and you're still experiencing issues, you might not be doing the best technique for the locking method that you have. Some of you guys have a looser curl pattern. So instead of twisting, I see some people just twist and then put a rubber band at the end. I also see some people just grab a chunk, and then just put a rubber band at the end. They secure the ends, but the shaft isn't secured. So if you have a looser curl pattern, you might want to braid. Instead of twisting, you might want to braid, then put a rubber band on the end to really secure and help it to hold, to secure that lock. Based on what you have, the locking method you have, the curl pattern you have, you might have to Go the extra mile to secure. You can't just group them together like some people do with a rubber band and call it a day, or a twist with a rubber band, call it a day. You might have to braid. Now, some people can just twist and go. Some people can just grab some and go. There are your hair is going to require a different method depending on what you got going on. Okay, so not properly braiding and banding your hair before shampooing is going to cause the locking process to slow down. Also, not letting your hair dry after shampooing your hair before taking out the bundles. So you did your bundle, you did it good, and you braid, and then you shampooed your hair, and then immediately after shampooing, you towel dry it real quick, and then you go take it out. That your hair is still wet. Your hair, especially depending on your porosity, is still holding water. So with that water in there, it's still moving. There's still movement going on with the hair in the water. So that is going to slow down the locking process if you take out the banding out too soon after a shampoo. So make sure you're following proper technique for your hair. Some people can take out the braid and banding, the braid and the rubber band before it's completely dry. But not everybody can get away with that. You have to know your hair. You have to know what you can and cannot do. Talk to your loctician to get the support and proper instructions that you need, okay? So that was one. Not shampooing properly and taking out the braiding and bending out too soon. So that second mistakes I see people that slow down their locking process. Y'all be doing too much with the products. Y'all using wrong products in y'all hair. Y'all want to oversaturate y'all hair with products. Like, honestly, when you're newly locked and your locks aren't mature, other than your shampoo and the light leave-in, you shouldn't be applying anything else to your hair. No oils. Y'all already know that unless you get instructions from your dermatologist and you have to use a medicated oil or a medicated ointment for your hair, for your scalp, by all means. But if you don't have any scalp issues, you did not get no go-ahead from your experienced, educated loctician, your dermatologist, your trichologist. If you did not get a go-ahead to put extra products, you should not be putting any extra products. Just shampoo your hair with a clarifying shampoo, right? And then mist it when you're done, and mist it with a rose water, some type of hydrating mist, lightweight leave-in, and that's it. And then keep it moving. Y'all be doing too much with these extra products. Y'all be putting Vaseline, y'all be putting gel, y'all be putting butters, y'all be putting all this stuff, thick, the thick conditioners that y'all creating buildup in the lock. Y'all doing all this stuff, and then it's slowing down the locking process because you're doing too much. So just follow your loctician's instructions, okay? Get away from the do too much crew. Leave that crew alone and go with the minimal crew, okay? Because we're trying to enjoy the journey. We're not trying. Y'all be killing me when y'all be like, oh my God, my hair is so dry. What do you expect? The hair needs a little bit of dryness for it to lock. I'm not saying it needs to be dry where it's breaking, but if you care for your hair before you lock, do treatments and all this other stuff, you should be fine. If you're shampooing your hair often, you should be fine. Some of y'all want to wash your hair every other month and then wonder why it's so dry, why it's not hydrated. If you follow proper routine, you shouldn't have to worry about your hair being so dry, right? So, my do too much people, stick to the basic hair products that you need for your hair to flourish. You don't need all that stuff. Some of y'all obsess over oil, and not everybody should be oiling their scalp. Not everybody's scalp need oil. I know as Black folks, we got to oil everything. Not everybody here need oil. And then if you have to oil, you got to make sure you're putting the right oil. Not every oil is going to agree with your scalp. Some of y'all, we got different things going on. So don't just oil just because my grandmama oiled her hair and my mama oiled her hair, so she oiled my hair, so I'm continuing with the tradition of oiling. Like, get to know your hair, get to know your scalp, and then get to know the products you're putting in your hair. Some of you guys are creating your own problems, okay? So stay away from all this extra products, using wrong products, that's going to create buildup, that's going to slow down the locking process. Number three, moving on. Okay, wrong locking method used. Your locking journey is going to be slowed down if you don't have the right locking method. Some of you guys have a very loose curl pattern and you're talking about you want to start off with 2-strand twists. Or you go to someone who only does 2-strand twists. So whether you have the right hair type or not, they just going to put them 2-strand twists in your hair. And then they don't have the skills, the extra skills that you need to support the 2-strand twists along the way. Now, some people with a loose curl pattern will do a 2-strand twist and you'll say, oh, well, they had a successful journey. Well, are you going to their loctician? Are you seeing the extra maintenance that comes along with it? You can get 2-strand twists with a loose curl pattern, but you better know how to really work with hair so that you understand how to care for that hair and take care of it along the way. If all you know is how to 2-strand twist, but you don't know how to repair, you don't know how to help the hair to do what it needs to do to give you that uniform look, stay away from it, right? So 2-strand, not everybody hair qualifies for a 2-strand twist. If you have a loose curl pattern and you want to start off with 2-strand twists, please go to somebody who knows how to really make it work, right? Don't just go to someone because they know how to 2-strand twist, but don't understand the science behind it. Don't understand what needs to happen in order to have this 2-strand twist looking a certain way. So yes, using a long locking pattern is going to slow down your locking process. I recommend that if you have a loose curl pattern, that 2-strand twist is not for you. But if you decide to get it, please go with somebody who is educated enough, who knows enough to do the work, because it's going to be some work to be able to keep it looking a certain way. All right. So that's 3. Mistake I see is that people flat iron or color their hair way before it's time to do so. When your locks are in the new phase, I tell people stay away from color, especially bleach. Some of you guys are going to say, well, I color my hair from day one. Or, well, Pauline, you did a video and I see you coloring your client's hair from day one. Yes, but baby, I also know what I'm doing. I also know how to... It's so much to consider. That's why it's hard to give like a blanket statement, because some of you guys are going to watch this and be like, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z. There's room to do a lot of what you want to do, but you have to understand the hair. You have to understand the person, their goals, like all of that. You have to consider all those things. Do not bleach your hair when your locks are in a new stage. Do not flat iron your hair when your locks are in a new stage. Now, some people will say, well, I've seen new people flat iron, newly locked people flat iron their hair. Do you know what temperature they used? Half the times they're not even sharing the temperature. Half the times y'all not even using the same flat iron. Different brands. Yes, y'all might say, oh, it was a 800 watts. It was this, it was that. They use that temperature. Are y'all using the same brand? There's so many different factors. And what's their hair like? Is their hair porous? What's the porosity? Like, there's so much to consider, because some people can do a lot with their hair and get away with it. And then you go try it and be like, dang, why ain't work for me? Y'all ain't working. Y'all not working with the same canvas, right? So if your hair is already damaged and you get some locks and then you go flat iron it before it's done. If your hair already damaged and you go color before it's time, and you're like, why my hair not locking? If you're going to color, like, for one, when I color my clients' hair that are newly locked, I am touching up the new growth. I am coloring the new growth. We are not touching the shaft. We are not touching the ends. And then when I color, you better believe you're covering grays, so you're going darker. We're not bleaching. I'm not using any volume higher than 20. We're doing a 10 or 20 volume with the color dark and calling it a day. We're not bleaching. We're not using a 30-40 developer. We're not doing none of that. And I'm only doing the new growth. So you got to be mindful of that. So it's best to, if you want to do all those other colors, the you want to go with the blondes, you want to do my color, you have to wait till your locks are mature. Don't do that before your locks are mature, because it's going to take a long time for it to lock, because chemical heat loosens your curl pattern. Okay, so the fifth mistake that I see that people make is that lack of moisture, no moisture in their hair. So when it comes to moisture, I know back then they tell you no water, don't miss. Y'all remember the Lion King? No food, no water. That's like one of my favorite lines in the Lion King. No food, no water. But anywho, I understand back in the days they talk about no water, don't shampoo your hair, don't get caught in the rain. Don't mist it. Don't do nothing with moisture in your locks. I understand that's back in the day, all right? But here's the thing with tradition. Tradition is tradition. Not all of it is science. We have to get away from, oh, that's, tradition. We got to get into, let's look into this. Why is this? Why do we do it like this? Why do we do it like that? What was the reason for them doing it like that back then? Right? And then we got to challenge those concepts. We got to challenge those traditions and see, is it applicable today? Is it something that could be different today? Do I have to do it like that? Can I change it up and do it another way? Like, it's okay to challenge those things. There's a lot of things I used to do because that's what we do. Like, my grandmama greased her scalp, so my mama greased her scalp. My mama greased my scalp all the time, so now I grease my scalp, and we do it just because that's what we do. No, y'all gotta be like, is that the right way though? For me, is it the right thing to do? So you have to question certain practices. So I understand that that's how it's done back then. But here's the thing. When you understand how hair works, when you understand the science of it, it's a beautiful thing. So your hair left alone, whether you do anything to it or not, is going to lock. Right? So let me just say that. However, sometimes your locking process or your locking journey is prolonged because it's not getting what it needs. Just like plant needs water to grow, your hair needs water to grow. Your hair needs water to flourish. What water does for your locks is a beautiful thing. Like your locks, when you interlock, when you two-strand twist, when you braid, you are manipulating the hair and putting it into some type of structure, right? It is going to hold that structure, but once water hits that structure, there's going to be some type of movement. Water allows the hair to expand and to move and to get into position. It helps it to get into formation, okay? What Beyonce say? Come on, let's get into formation. Don't come for me, the beehives, because I'm over here like trying to figure out. Let's get into formation. What is it? Dang it, I haven't heard the song in a long time. Is it, come on, ladies, let's get into formation. Anywho, water helps your strands to get into formation. It gets into formation, like it start moving and saying, okay, let me get into my place. Let me go get into where I belong. So that's when you start seeing the expansion and the fluffiness and, the movements. You start seeing the shrinkage. I know y'all don't be liking the shrinkage, but you start seeing the shrinkage and all this other stuff. When all that movement is happening, it is matting. The hair is matting together. The strands are coming together and creating the lock that you desire. No water, no movement. No food, no water. Okay, let me. Like your hair needs moisture to flourish. Water keeps dirt out of your hair. Water keeps buildup out of your hair. Water keeps all the unnecessary stuff out of your hair. It's a beautiful thing. So, and it helps keep it clean. So you need that moisture in order for your locks to do its thing. I can always tell the clients who shampoo often and those who don't. Those who only shampoo when their retie comes, they their hair takes a lot longer to lock. I have some clients who should have been locked in 6 months or a year, but they over 3 years and you still got some locks that won't lock because they're not shampooing their hair. They're not adding that moisture. But those who shampoo often, more movement is created, it's going to lock quicker. I did a video of 5 things you can do. I think it was 5 things. 5 things you can do for your hair to lock faster. One of it was water. No water, no movement. No locking. No locking journey quicker. I'm being extra now. All right, I think I made my point. So, anywho, those are the 5 mistakes that I see that people make that slows down the locking process, that slows down maturity. Eventually, your locks will get mature, but how long it takes for maturity, you know how y'all be looking at adults, right? Y'all be like, oh, she a 50, 60 something year old. You should be mature by now. Or you 30, you should be mature by now. They shouldn't be acting like this at that age. If you don't have the right circumstances, the right environment, the right routine, the right playbook, the right whatever, maturity ain't gonna come. Same thing with hair. You have to give it the right environment, the right routine, the right whatever in order for it to mature properly. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. So stay away from these mistakes. Shampooing your hair without braiding and banding and taking out the banding out too soon. Applying unnecessary product, wrong product to your hair to cause the locking process to slow down. Wrong locking method used. Wrong locking method used. Flat ironing or coloring your hair too soon before it's time. And I know some people be like, fly ironing, why anybody want to fly iron their hair? Listen, let people be. But if you're gonna fly iron, you better make sure your locks are mature. Okay? And the last thing is lack of moisture. All of those things will cause your locking process to slow down if you're wondering why my hair isn't locking. But anywho, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, do all the beautiful thing, and follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. I do have a membership now on YouTube, so if you would like to join to get more support, to get more exclusive content, it's going to all be in my membership. Okay. All right. So that's all I got for you guys. See you guys next time. Bye.